Hello up from Central Florida, salute you too. I'm once again at Eagles 4273, and I have a lovely lady with me. Her name is Hanna Zeller. You are with the Lake County Habitat.
Yeah.
Lake and Sumter County, right?
Exactly.
And you are the project manager, correct?
Yeah, I'm our fund development manager, so I do fundraising and then also some marketing, some communications, but a lot of my job is being out and just talking to folks just like you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're going to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know a little bit about yourself. Are you a native Floridian?
I'm not. I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. I moved here when I was sort of a preteen and have lived here ever since.
And how did you wind up in Habitat? Why Habitat?
Sure, yeah. I was quite young when I started working with Habitat. It was really my first big girl job. I had been working in some other service positions, some other nonprofit positions, and I was starting to really look for something that felt like it was giving back to the community that I had grown up in. So when Habitat was looking for folks to join their team, I knew I really wanted to apply, and it's been great ever since.
How long have you been there?
2.5 years in this role. So I've been here for a little while developing with them.
Were you with Habitat someplace else?
No, I worked for a couple of other nonprofits, but just with them, just 2.5 years.
So you're at Lake and Sumter County,
Mm-hmm.
and I know Habitat's all over, right?
Yes.
Are they all over the world?
Yeah, so Habitat for Humanity is an international organization, and it operates on an affiliate system. So almost like when fast food places are franchised, so different people own them, but it's one big brand. Habitat is very similar. So we are part of that network and part of that name, but we are an independent affiliate. So everything we do is run out of Lake and Sumter County. We fundraise here, we build exclusively here, we only serve families in Lake and Sumter County. So it's all local.
Yeah, I know some of the fundraiser you did, the houses, the little houses you build to have the kids and the family build those houses, and people donate money for the material and all. We did that a couple times here at the Eagles. The Eagles has donated. And I know your boss real well, so you better be nice to me.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, when I started with Habitat, one of my first shows was with Habitat at the school there that you have, it was college kids that came in.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk a little bit about that program? It's not just college, right? You do high school too?
Yeah, so we work with a lot of young volunteers in a couple of different ways. Actually, from ages 14 and up, we have young people out on site learning different construction skills. So we have 3 programs for that, something called Youth Impact Days, which are dedicated volunteer days where youth groups come out and they volunteer, and those are some younger kids. Like I said, 14 and up tends to be the age for that. Then, yes, we have college students out through something called Collegiate Challenge. So college students in the springtime spend their spring break with us, building and volunteering on our sites and learning those construction
And they pay,
skills.
right? They pay.
Sometimes the schools make donations. Sometimes they're just here to learn. We really just encourage them to come out and volunteer however they want. College kids spending their spring break volunteering is already sort of a unique thing, right? You think spring break is a vacation and they're out working. So yeah.
That's great because, it gives them an insight as to what's going on in the world, and they giving back to the community, and that's what we all should be like that,
Yeah.
But I did this one show up there when that first opened up, and much to my surprise, one of the students was a veteran.
Wow.
Yes, a lady veteran, and so I know about Habitat, and Kent Adcock was the president. And he had a young assistant named Danielle, who is now the big boss.
She is. She is our CEO, and she is doing some incredible work. It's been so great coming in and being able to work with her.
Tell me about some of the programs you did. I like I said, I know about that one there because I did a show with that.
Sure.
But I also did a show with Veterans Village.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little about that?
Absolutely, yeah. So I believe 3 or 4 years ago, we wrapped up that project. It was our very first, what we call a pocket neighborhood. So usually with Habitat, we find a plot and we build into an existing neighborhood. So we we build a new home, but it's somewhere that's surrounded by houses that are already built. Our Umatilla Veterans Village was the first project where we did a full neighborhood. It's 13 units over in Umatilla, and it's served veterans exclusively. So everyone that moved into that area that needed affordable housing, it was veterans or their families that were able to access those homes. And that project sparked a much larger project with Habitat called our Veterans Housing Initiative, where we're serving veterans through more all-encompassing services.
Are you building more communities? Is that what you're doing? Or, I know you have, and this is one thing I wanted to talk about. I wanted you to talk about, actually. The people come up to me and say, well, I need a handicap ramp. I got a veteran who needs a handicap ramp.
Yeah.
You guys do all that.
Absolutely, yeah. So that is after we built our Umatilla Veterans Village, we really looked at the need in the community and saw that besides a new home, there are so many other services that our veterans need, and we wanted to be able to be a resource for them. So yes, we still build homes for veterans. New home ownership is a way we serve them, but we also do a lot of critical home repairs for veterans, as well as accessibility modifications through our preservation and repair program. So that is a separate program. Instead of a brand new home, we go and make someone's home livable and safe. And we serve many, many veterans through that program, exactly providing what you said: wheelchair ramps, shower bars. We will redo their floors to make sure that they're safe to have a wheelchair on them, all kinds of repairs so that their houses are safe.
Okay, somebody's watching the show and they say, oh, you know what? I know a veteran who needs that.
Yeah.
How do you go about it?
Absolutely. They can give us a call or email us at programs@habitatls.org. That's LS for Lake Sumter. They can email our programs department, and for our veterans specifically, they're able to walk them through a special application process to see if we can meet their needs.
So that process would be the same for somebody who lived like in Sumter County or another county. They have to go through their county habitat.
Well, so every habitat is different, and the services they provide is different. So for Habitat Lake Sumter, we absolutely provide those services for our veterans. And if you live in Lake or Sumter County, those are some things we can provide them.
Yeah, I also did when you did the Veterans Village, of course.
Yeah.
I was up there with them, and Kent was in charge back then. But one of my good friends, Ike Fritz, who was a Gulf War veteran, he has one of those houses, and I visit him from time to time. He is paralyzed from the chest down, but he got one of those electroskeletons with, to help him walk. He walked through that door over there. First time he walked in 30 years,
Wow.
thanks to but he had a little setback, had an accident, but he's bouncing back. He's a tough guy. But, so I've always been impressed with what Habitat does.
Yeah.
And there is a guy who recently passed, who was United States Navy veteran,
Yes.
who was with the submarines. He was very knowledgeable in the submarines and helped put all that together. Oh yeah, by the way, he was a president at one time. Jimmy Carter.
Yes. Yeah, so President Jimmy Carter, he was a huge proponent of affordable housing, and he was a huge supporter of Habitat. For over 35 years, Jimmy and his wife Rosalind, they came and volunteered out on Habitat sites. They actually sponsored something called the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter Work Project. So every year they would dedicate a week of their time, and they would build more than just one home. They would build a whole set of homes for families that needed them. The first one actually started back in, I believe, 1985. I know it's back in the 80s. They built 19 units in an apartment in New York. They refurbished them and were able to give 19 families brand new homes. And after that project, they dedicated in their lifetime at least a week of their time, though often more, every year to a project. And since his passing, Habitat is working really hard to make sure we honor that legacy and all of that dedication, especially to all of the different families, including many veterans that he served. And so Habitat Lake Sumter has been given the opportunity to do our own Jimmy Carter Work Project, and we're going to be doing that in October.
Oh, okay. And what does that entail?
Yeah, so we are building similar to the Veterans Village. We're building another pocket neighborhood. Instead of being specifically for veterans, this is one for folks who are 55 and up. It's called the Cottages at Heritage Grove, and that pocket neighborhood has 23 homes in it.
Wow.
And it's only on a little bit over an acre of land, so they're small. And in order to accommodate the space, we are building our very first triplexes, or 3 townhouse units all together. So in October, we will be, as part of our Jimmy Carter Work Project, building our second ever triplex to be able to serve 3 families in need who need a safe and decent place to live, to help honor President Carter.
And you recently did a little thing up there at to celebrate President Carter, and we have some video. We're going to take a look at that.
Been in my family since I was a little baby, and now that I'm 64 years old, and she has done this service. She served us well. Welcome to my home.
For nearly 3 decades, Habitat for Humanity of Lake Sumter, Florida, has been serving the housing needs of Lake and Sumter County residents with homeownership solutions. The proven and tested model of building and selling affordable homes to low to moderate income homeowners has resulted in over 350 families placed since 1989.
It's an opportunity to give my children a better life, a stable home, to be able to let them know that they're secure and that there'll always be a place to come home to. For people to come out of the way for people they don't know and a family they don't know, it just melts your heart and know that there is people out there that care about you and your kids and family.
The use of donated materials and labor from community stakeholders has worked so effectively that it is now being applied to a more expanded mission.
When I was 18, I went out to Vietnam to serve as a United States Marine. I spent almost 10 years in the service. I went in 1967. I got out of the service in October 1975. And I stepped on a mine, and that caused a lot of complications and problems. But yet, I'm still alive, and I thank God for that, because some people lost their limbs. I got scrap metals and wounds in both legs, in my arm, my head. Sometimes I swell up and I can't walk. I stayed there until 1969, and then they sent me back from Vietnam, and then I came back to the States. Then went to Camp Lejeune, and then from Camp Lejeune, which is right down the road, to Camp Geiger, and started training troops. It was not easy to adjust coming from Vietnam and be treated the way that we were treated, because they didn't respect us and we couldn't respect them. A lot of us came back from Vietnam, we didn't have counseling. They just turned you loose, and the people treated you like garbage. I remember coming off the plane and the lady spit in my face and I couldn't shoot her. I cried. It wasn't easy to adjust to coming out of the military and just taking right into the world. Coming out of service and in a combat situation, people don't understand you have a lot of stress, a lot of hurt, a lot of anxiety, and then you can't sleep at night, and you was on your own. You had to survive the best way you could. And again, I stressed on, most of us became alcoholics and drug addicts. I finally went into a psychiatrist there in Camp Lejeune, and he did through God, he did a wonderful job with me. He started giving me new life, but I had gotten tired, and it got to the point where I wanted to shoot myself, but God wouldn't let me. He showed me a different way to go.
Habitat's Veterans Housing Initiative is the term being used to describe its new focus for the immediate future. Increasingly, Habitat is being viewed as a community catalyst that works innovatively to provide solutions and answers to some of our community's most overbearing challenges. One such challenge centers around how the estimated thousands of returning veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan will be assimilated back into civilian life after serving our country so faithfully.
But a lot of these guys over in Afghanistan and in Iraq, they need this. They need somebody to support them, give them a look at life, that you're there for them, and just don't turn them loose like they did us from Vietnam.
Habitat, along with its partners, the PGA Tour Players and Livestream Behavioral Center, envisions providing a softer landing for many of these veterans as they make Lake and Sumter County a place to call home.
So now with the housing that you all is going to provide for them and counseling, now they can come back from overseas and have somebody to grant them with love and respect and show them that you care for them. When I first came into your office, I know y'all saw us crying. That was the most enjoyable thing in the world, is to know that you're getting a home of your own. You know, something that you can call my home. I can walk away from it, go away, come back to my house. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful. I've told everyone, you know, that through Habitat, soon and very soon, in 3 or 4 months, I have a place to call my home.
Tell me more about that project, the Jimmy Carter thing. Who qualifies as far as getting a home, a veteran? 55 and up, and you said, but what are the stipulations?
Yep, so just for this neighborhood, it's the only time we've had an age-restricted neighborhood, and it's because where we're building is surrounded by other 55 and up homes. So the city of Tavares asked that we keep those housing dedicated specifically for that community. But in general, to apply for a Habitat home, veteran or not, there are a specific set of qualifications that our homeowners have to meet. It's all available online at our website. That's www.habitatls.org. And they can go on there and look. It's just a handful of pretty simple financial qualifications, a credit score of 650 or above, certain income levels that they have to fit in.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't want somebody who's making $150,000 a year come and say, I'm looking for a free house, you know?
Right.
And not free, right? They're not free.
No, so our people that go through our new home ownership program, they're purchasing their house. So the program is set up to provide them with the resources they need to buy a home with an affordable mortgage. So it's not a gift they're receiving. They are working. They put in 200 hours of sweat equity. They put in a ton of time to financial education, and they work to get their credit score to a healthy place. And then they purchase a home with Habitat's help. We walk alongside them through that. And the home that they purchase is considered affordable to them, which means that the cost of their housing doesn't make it impossible for them to live healthily and safely, right? So they're not burdened with that cost. So they don't receive the home, they buy them. And in our cottages neighborhood, they are 55 and up, but anyone can apply for the rest of Habitat's housing. We build for all kinds of families all the time. And with our veterans, specifically through our Veterans Housing Initiative, we make sure that those folks are receiving additional assistance. So we're able to apply for special grants or special funding. So whether that's new home ownership or preservation and repair, we're making sure we're dedicating some of our services to veterans as well.
It has to be heartwarming for you and Danielle and everybody there to turn the keys over to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, any special memory of that? Have you been out there for those?
Yeah, all the time. It's my favorite part of this job over the last 2 years. And Habitat Lake Sumter is really ramping up our construction. So in the past 2 years, we've jumped from building 10 to 15 homes to almost 20 a year, which is a big jump in our construction. We have quite a small team. But they're working extra hard, and it is amazing the couple of families that I've gotten to see. There's one family, Miss Smith, her and her 3 daughters recently received their home in Leesburg last May, I believe. And she had just been through so much, had applied to the Habitat program a couple of times, and had worked so hard to get to a place where she could purchase a home. And there's this great photo I can share with you guys, just the joy on her face.
I don't know if we have that. We may have that.
I'll make sure that you guys do, because
Okay.
it's great. Just the joy on her face of receiving those keys. And what's great is, I know you mentioned some of the youth students. The one that I didn't get to share about a bit is our Youth Construction Academy, which is our high schoolers. And it's 5 high school kids.
5 high school?
5 high schools, all students from those schools, and with Miss Smith, the students from the Leesburg Construction Academy actually were the ones to hand her keys. So those students had spent all year building her home, and then they were the ones handing over her keys. It was just such a cool moment.
Speaking of the Leesburg High School,
Yes,
you see this lovely set you're sitting on?
I do.
This was built by the students in Leesburg High School, thanks to money that was raised from the merchants and townspeople. When I first started doing my show, they wanted me to have a nice set, and I take it wherever I go now.
Sure.
You know, but well, not everywhere, but yeah. And so I know they do a lot. I see it, and I think that's great, because not everybody is college bound.
Right.
You know, I wasn't. I was a lineman for the power company, so I'd get into history, but I wasn't going to make any money out of it. But
Yeah, our youth construction academies are exactly for those students, right? So we started that program 6 or 7 years ago as well, and it was because we noticed there was this need for trades work, and for a lot of the construction companies that we partner with were really hurting for trained young professionals to be able to come in and join their workforce. So we partner with a lot of the local construction companies, and like I said, 5 high schools in Lake and Sumter County, and every year those students get on site. This year, Leesburg, actually, we've extended sort of their education in their on-site classroom. It's usually just new construction, so they're building a home start to finish. By the end of it, they end OSHA certified, and they are able to go onto a real construction site just like anyone else and get a job. We've had a couple of students that are now working for some of the construction partners that we have. They're funding right into a job. One of the Leesburg students, and like I said, they're expanding into our preservation and repair as well, which is very exciting. So they're learning some additional skills in home repair, which even if you don't go into construction, knowing how to repair your house is great. But yeah, there's a student recently out of Leesburg who won a house plan design competition with Romac Building Supply, which is the sponsor for their program, and she has interned with them and she's a graduating senior this year and has a job lined up with them starting this summer.
I think it's special, really special, because when I first came down here, I did not see where I came from. We had like Henry Abbott Technical School, and I did not see those kind of programs that they're doing now and working with like Habitat. You guys have made a real big difference, and somebody can go through the school, learn a trade, and you've got some great partners, companies that work with you, and it's just an amazing thing.
Yeah, we really, something that I think is so special about Habitat Lake Sumter and why it's been such a privilege to work with them is they really have taken a look at the community and realized that, you know, there's not one way that somebody needs support. Everyone is an individual and everyone needs a different approach, but ultimately the goal is making sure people have safe, decent places to live, right? And so whether that's through education, whether that's through making sure people have access to the resources they need to buy a home or keep their home safe, or even with our students, making sure that they're setting themselves up for careers that they can eventually purchase homes for themselves. They've really taken a look at everything and are trying to serve every area.
How long have you been working with the high schools on these things?
Yeah.
And has any student come back and said, "Thank you, I'm doing good now, I've got the job"? And
Yes.
any success stories?
Oh, absolutely. Quite a few students. We've been doing this, I think, in total, this is the program's 7th year. So for the first 5 years, we added a new school. So we started out with just one school, the Village's charter school. And every year we've added on another school. I know when Leesburg High School first joined, it was a class of like 15 students. Now their construction academy has over 300 students every year. Not all of them end up on a Habitat site that's reserved sort of for juniors and seniors that are in the upper levels, but they go through full training. They have workshops at their schools that they work out of. But yeah, a great success story is actually someone that now works on Habitat's construction crew. His name is Josh. He was first introduced to Habitat when he was a high school student, and he was one of the students that partnered with us. He helped build on Habitat sites and got certified in all of the things he needs to be out leading a construction site. And now he's one of our construction supervisors.
That's good.
And he's about to be a homeowner through Habitat's homeownership program. So it's really set him up to be able, he, just like anyone else that would go through the program, he's putting in his sweat equity, just like anyone else. He's getting prepared, going through the financial education, but he's really been able to be served by all these different programs. And it all started with being a student through youth construction. So that's great.
Yeah. And you do a lot of programs. You can find out a lot about what you guys do or what an event that's coming up on your webpage or
Yes.
Facebook. Where they go?
Yep. So best place is our website. That's www.habitatls.org. LS Lake and Sumter. So ls.org. We have lots of events going on. If people are interested in volunteering with us or just seeing what we do all year round, we try to have events where people can come out to the site and see what's going on, so they can get a better understanding of how we serve the community.
Now, there are some 501c not-for-profits like, I don't know, motorcycle riders and this and that. They do charity things. One of their members says they need a thing. They just go to that website, right?
Just go to that website. Yep. Contact information for anyone they want to get a hold of, if they're looking to partner with Habitat, if you just want more information, all of it's there. Or they can always get in touch with me, and I'm happy to, if I can't answer that question, get them to someone who can. And my email, if they want to directly contact me, is Hanna, HANNAH, @habitatls.org.
Okay, we got that out there now
Yeah.
too. So I wanted to go to that. You had a special day to honor Jimmy Carter and what he did. And for those who don't know, he was well into his 90s. He was still swinging a hammer and everything. I mean, he's an amazing human being. Forget about politics. And that's what we need to do in this country. Forget about all the politics. Let's just figure out how to make something better, and he did that.
Yeah, he was a huge supporter of Habitat, like I said, and the ceremony you're talking about, for the month of February, it's been up. There is a memorial wall at our Eustis Restore. It's right on B Street, and it's part of an international memorial for President Carter. So Habitats all over the country and all over the world have built walls just very similar to the one that we built.
Oh, and that's permanent.
Yeah, so it's not at that site, but all of the material from that wall will be used in that October Jimmy Carter Work project. So for us, that wall will go, and all of the materials will be used to build an actual home. So
you got to be looking down and smiling, you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And along with his wife,
Yes.
Rosalind.
Yeah.
But okay, well, I wanted to get you here because, like I said, I know what Habitat does, and I've been at some of your projects, but I do have people come up to me all the time and say, I need a handicap ramp. How do I do that? I said, well there is some place called Habitat that can help you out. And you have a lot of thrift stores too.
Yes.
That's what helps raise money too.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have 2 restores, one in Leesburg and one in Eustis, like I mentioned. And yeah, those absolutely, they are great chances to, if you've got small furniture to donate, housewares, we really take a whole bunch of stuff, and the proceeds from that directly fund our construction efforts.
Yeah, how about furnishing a house, like a couch or chairs? You got people to help you out with that?
Not so often, right? Often we've got people that are bringing in their own stuff. So there are restores. Really, it's to resell the furniture so that we can underwrite those construction costs.
Yeah.
We try to make sure it's a space that people can really make their own when they move into our new homes. And with those repairs, we're really making sure that their house is just the space that they know and love, just safe now. So we really try to keep it however the homeowner likes it. They're able to, if it's new construction, pick some of the furnishings, the paint color, like the hardware on their cabinets, so that it really feels like their home.
Yeah, and of course with the sweat equity that they have to put in so many hours.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic, because then you really feel like I've done something, this is mine, and I've been part of it. But I think we're about ready to wrap it up. So I would like you to give out the information one more time. How many houses, by the way, do you think Lake and Sumter Habitat has put together in the last 4 years or so?
Oh, in the last 4 years. Well, I don't know the total for the last 4. I do know that last year, in our affiliates history, so we've been open since 1989, we built our 300th home.
Wow, great.
And this year, because we're slated to build 20, so by the end of this year, we'll be up to 320 homes in total. And
the information again, if you're looking to get a hold of somebody at Habitat?
Yep, the website is www.habitatls.org.
I want to thank you, Hanna, for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And I will give a good word out to your boss.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We're going to say goodbye, and this is how we do. We're going to look at that camera right there. To all our veterans out there, active military and their families, we salute you for all you do. Till next time. Today I'm at AMVETS Post 2006, a major sponsor of Central Florida Salute. And I want to introduce to you the commander here, Ronnie Mack. Ronnie, tell us a little bit about AMVETS 2006. Where are you located? And
we are at 500 North Canal Street, Leesburg, Florida. It's right off of 441, between 441 and Main Street on Canal. Can't miss us. And we're a veterans organization, along with, we have an auxiliary, and we have sons of veterans that are related some form or another to a veteran. And we do a lot for a lot of charitable donations and stuff to charities in the area and in the county. And we're a major sponsor to Central Florida Salute. We're proud of it. We're glad to be. You guys do a heck of a job, and we'll sponsor you as long as I'm here. We're going to sponsor you. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, we do. Sue and I really appreciate it. We're a two-person operation. Yep. And what we try to do with education and supporting our veterans community, and you supporting us, is major thing. It's major.
We're glad to do it, Bob. We're glad to do it.
And you have sons here. You have auxiliary here. You've got a website too if somebody wants to join?
Yep, it's don't punch into www, it's amvets-2006.org, and it'll take you right to our website, Facebook page, and all that's there, and you'll be able to find that. The webmaster, he tries to get the calendar on there every month, anything pertinent. There's a lot of other links on there for veterans to find out where to get help for certain claims and stuff like that. Our webmaster's really into that stuff. That's the guy you ought to be interviewing right there. So,
well, you know what,
he's got
Ronnie?
A lot of stuff.
You have a lot of clout. You tell him to talk to me, and we'll get him on the show. Okay?
I can do that.
All right. But I just want to, on behalf of Sue and myself, we want to thank AMVETS 2006 because you guys are the major players behind us, and we appreciate it.
But we just wish we could do more. We really do.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.